Gali, mera gali spera gali nichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. I was actually having a very happy Monday until I was waiting to start the show and you squaddies started talking about Ødegaard getting injured. I'm not watching the game. Hold your breath, everyone. Let's not try to panic. And you know what? Let's rock and roll. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. I tell you, if it doesn't rain, it pours. And I wish it was pouring over me right now because it is literally an insane heat wave in Southern California. And I'm not talking about California heat where you guys usually say, "How stop moaning, Sophie? It's always warm." Wait, no, it is a heat wave. I have sweat dripping down my face, but I am here for you because I love you at Ease Squaddies at ease. Oh my God, it's so hot. Literally, Vinny and Vespa have been having themselves spritzed all morning. Yesterday was even worse. It's crazy hot, really hot for California. Don't like it. See filed under do not like. Hit the do not like button. But I tell you what, for tonight, please hit the like button because I would appreciate it and the show would appreciate it. And of course, your favorite canines would also appreciate it. Go on, the Vince, hit that like button and let's bring Vespa out as well. David Raya, super pass, super goal for Spain, all because of David Raya. But of course, we begin this evening by asking how your weekend was. I hope it was good. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. I did. It was exceptionally hot and I'm sweating like swine. See, it's affecting my speech. Warren will be with us shortly. We'll bring him into the studio. He is going to be in his car, but he's pulled over to chat to us. He's got a very important call, and he didn't want to let any of us down. And so he will be here, and he's going to be in transit, Super Warren style. So I'll bring Warren in as soon as we have him here. And in fact, hold on one second, because now I need to change the background. Lovely. Because one of my favorite footballers and humans is here with us. Mr. Warren Barton, welcome back to Squad Central.
Pleasure to be there. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I do apologise being in the car. And you're right, it is over 102 degrees where I am in San Diego. So as though I don't want to complain, I am going to complain because it's 100 degrees. But I've got the AC going on.
Oh, Warren, I tell you, you and I do like the heat. We've been living in SoCal for so long, but when it's this kind of heat and in the September as well, there's something just unbearable about it, even though you and I do live pretty close to the ocean as well. Woof, hot stuff.
Yeah, all good. But we're not complaining because I know back home it's raining, it's cold, and the old man is snoring. So there you go. It's not clever.
Well, listen, it's good to have you back, and thanks so much for joining. I'm going to get stuck right into it because I know we've got limited time with you, and we do appreciate you still being here, even though you've got a very important day ahead. Let's just get stuck right into this. It's the North London Derby coming up on Sunday, and the squaddies in live chat are informing me that it looks like Martin Ødegaard may have injured his ankle. As you know, we've already lost Mikel Merino. We've lost Declan Rice to a suspension. All week I've been asking who starts, who sits, mostly in the midfield. You've played in a lot of high octane derbies, Warren. When you're going into this missing some of your best players, give us that player point of view. What's going to be the approach here if Ødegaard is injured too?
Yeah, it is a massive blow. I remember going into games possibly against Sunderland, and we wasn't sure whether Big Les Ferdinand was going to play or Peter Beardsley. You want your best players in this game because it's unlike any other game. It's not a normal game. When people try and dress it up and say, well, it's just 3 points, it doesn't really matter. It does. It has a different feel about it. And also coming off the back of an international break, the coaches haven't had too long with their players. They can't really get their points across. They rest up for 48 hours and then you're straight into it. So you want your best players, but as soon as that whistle goes, it gives someone's opportunity. You're playing against. I remember playing against Manchester United, and it was me, Clarence Acuna, in midfield against Roy Keane, Scholes. Rob Lee was injured. Gary was injured. And I actually said to Paul Scholes after about 25 minutes. How many of you is there here? Because it seems like there's too many, but we did manage to sneak a result. So funny enough, we got a result from it. But Ødegaard, for me, I think he's been Arsenal's best player for the last 18 months. I think he makes everything tick. I think he gives them that drive. He's obviously a quality player as well as Declan Rice. We can talk about the pathetic yellow card and what went on there, which was ridiculous. In my point of view, people say it's a letter of the law and all that crap, but for me, it was a ridiculous yellow card that he picked up. But it is a derby, so it gives someone a chance. Partey, hopefully can go in there. They might have one or two injuries, being Spurs, so it's one of them games. And what the fans need to do, I think, and I know by experience, is really get behind the players. Particularly the ones that are coming in. It will give them such a huge lift. They're going to be, obviously a bit anxious, nervous going into the game because you haven't got your captain, you haven't got your big midfield player in there with Declan Rice, but they've got so many good players, Arsenal. But it is a derby, and Spurs will be looking to this to beat Arsenal. It's been a long time that they've really gone into it, probably toe to toe. So everybody's looking forward to the game. It's a great game to watch, great games to be involved. And I remember as an Arsenal fan, going to White Hart Lane many years ago and seeing Liam Brady curl one in the top corner. So that shows you how old I am. So we've seen a few good games. We've seen a few good games.
You mentioned about kind of being a weakened team and going into big matches, and you played against Thierry, you've played against, our great forwards in midfield. You've been in the cauldron, Warren, against the Arsenal. How are Tottenham going to feel about this? Because of course, when you as a player, you're about to face Thierry Henry or Dennis Bergkamp. We've had some great duels, our clubs in the past, ones you played for. What are you thinking as a Tottenham fan, as a Tottenham player, knowing that these key players are missing? What is it? Take us into the dressing room. What's the manager thinking? What are the players thinking?
No, they think they've got a good chance. Unfortunately for us, when Terry was playing, and you looked across and you got big Tony Adams, David Seaman, Keown that would tackle his grandmother. You've got Bergkamp, Perez, Vieira, and then you got the two little rats at the back with Lee Dixon and Nigel Winterburn as well. So it didn't come easy, and you can throw Ray Parlour in there, or Freddie, or Robert Perez. So that was a real great team. I agree with Gary Neville when he said, playing against these teams of, say, Chelsea, obviously Manchester City, I didn't play against their great teams, but Arsenal for me was more difficult to play against than that Man United team that won the treble, because they could do it all. They could, and United could to an extent with up front, but Andy Cole and Dwight York were great players, but they weren't Bergkamp and Henry. So from that point of view, but if you go back to your question, Spurs players will be really looking forward to this, and the manager will be saying, look, don't underestimate them. Make sure we let them. I would think make sure we let them know. Still giving them respect, but it's a great opportunity for them to get over it. Reverse for Arsenal players, if I'm giving that opportunity, I'm like, I ain't letting you down. I ain't letting my captain down. I'm not letting these Arsenal fans down, and I'm definitely not letting the manager down, who's got faith in me. Now our captain's gone. He wants me to play in his shoes. So for the reverse effect for an Arsenal player, it should be, what an opportunity. What a game. What a way to be a hero. Because people do remember them games, them goals, them assists, them tackles, them saves more than anybody else. So, they're the type of moments that can really make you into, a living legend for Arsenal and for Spurs. If they get someone who gets a couple of goals, then it goes the other way. But for an Arsenal player, given the opportunity with these injuries, you fancy. But the great Arsenal team, and they was a great team. I played against your Graham's team, and they was a very good team with Smudger and Merce and people, and Ian Wright. You could see the clips of me and Ian Wright there going toe to toe. They was a great team as well. But the Arsenal, that Wenger team was something special, particularly when Terry was unplayable. He was unplayable at that time. And great pictures there of Rocky. I remember playing against him as well. So the shorts were great and the socks was great. So the hair, not so much. The hair we could maybe leave out a little bit. It was all good.
Oh. Yeah, this is you've got your crazy gang hot pants on there, Warren, in that one with Rocky. Good times, great memories. Let me ask you this too. Jorginho hasn't really featured this season. Thomas Partey's kind of coming back. He had 2 back-to-back 90-minute games in this international break. Let's say Ødegaard is unable to play. We know about Rice and Merino. With your experienced head on, if you're going into this game playing for Newcastle against Sunderland in a big one, or a London derby like when you were in the crazy gang, do you think it's a good place to throw a young player like Waneri in or Lewis Skelly in? What's your thought on that? Because we see that happen maybe in Europe a lot more than we do in England, but we have seen Liverpool do it. We've seen Manchester City do it. Would you do it in this game if you were Mikel Arteta, or would you play it safe and say, okay, for this game, maybe I'll play Zinchenko in midfield or Jurriën Timber, or I'll adopt Sterling and then move Kai Havertz back in midfield? What would you do with the youngsters?
Any other game except a London derby, I would probably throw them in. I would say, here's your opportunity. Unless Arteta really values one of them to say, and he would have played him already more times by this. I would have thought, like you've seen at Manchester United, when you've got one that they really bank on, he goes in front of other people. So I think he will go with obviously Partey, and then another experience. And then if it's going reasonably well, then throw him in there. I think he will go with safety. If you're missing one, then I think you can take a chance. But you're missing 2 of them, 2 in midfield. So it will really leave you vulnerable if you go in and throw 2 youngsters or start players out of position and things like that. It's easier to play an experienced player out of position than it is a young kid. So I think if it was any other game, say they was playing Southampton away, or even another tough game, an Everton away or whatever, I think he would maybe go with that and to try the young players. But he knows, because he's played in these games, you don't want to lose these games. Whatever you do, you don't lose it. So you don't really take a chance earlier on. As the game unfolds and how people feel, and you have a look at people, how they're getting warmed up or how they're acting in the locker room, changing room, then you can start to look around in that. But I think he might play it safe at the moment. And again, particularly just coming off the back of an international weekend where he's not had time to really go through, in particular, how he wants to do it.
And we've got a couple more minutes here with Warren. Warren, what's your take on the Sterling signing? Did you like that signing from the Gunners?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sterling's. I think Raheem, I think he's a good player. He's been a wonderful player in the past, maybe at Chelsea, and he's not the only one that has lost his way there, because the way that they are and the roster that they've got there. But no, I'm a big fan. He knows how to win. He's played there. They've got a good relationship with Arteta. It gives you something different. There's no doubt about it. It's a different player to what they've got, and he brings you that experience. And by all accounts that I've heard as well, people that he's a good fella. He's good around the changing room. He's good around with young players. So Arteta's not stupid. He's not going to bring someone in just for the sake of it. He'll bring someone in that can do something on the pitch, but also help off the pitch as well. So it's that another building step for everyone saying now it's Arsenal's turn to try and win it. I still think they've got a tough road ahead of us, but he will help that, because I think he's a quality player and a good person.
Awesome. And 2 quick fire ones for you, Warren. I have to get your opinion on this because so many people have been talking about it. You've worn the England shirt, and definitely I remember when I saw you wear the England shirt, you wore it with a lot of pride. Is it fair or foul? Everyone's take on most people's take on Lee Castley not singing the anthem. Did you care about that or not?
No, not really. No, not at all. I can't remember Capello doing it. So or Sven. You know, so he said he's Irish. So I think it would be totally disrespectful to us that he would do it. I've got no problems whatsoever with that, and I've got no phobia about having a foreign manager or anything like that. I've played against Lee. I don't know him, but I've played against him. He's honest. He's done a very, very good job with the under-21. So I've got no problems whatsoever with that. I think we get caught up in that too much. It's make sure what we do on the field is more important.
Love it. I think you may have a problem with this one. Fair or foul, non-celebrations by players. I say they should. Now, at country, I thought this was, I love Declan, but I'm like, dude, celebrate, kiss that 3 Lions badge. At club level, Warren, I absolutely hate it. Celebrate with the fans and the team that's paying your wages now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would celebrate. You know, there's a way of celebrating and stuff like that. But yeah, you score a goal. You've made your allegiance. They've said goodbye. You move on. You made the choice. So yeah, I celebrate. I celebrate with that because it's a bit condescending, really, to say, well, if you're not going to celebrate, then go back to go and play with them. So that would be my thing. But no, I think he should celebrate. I do understand where he's coming from, but no, you're playing for England. You've just scored a goal for England. I'll be taking my shirt off and running the length of the field. So in that very place, my game got abandoned by England fans writing, so many years ago, 19 years ago. So that just shows you, how things are changing around. Now we're not celebrating. So it's a funny world we live in.
I love that. Well, listen, you go do some safe driving. And are you feeling good about the North London derby, regardless of all the adversity?
Yeah, I love the games. I think they're great. I love derbies. The Manchester one's lost its pull. This one's got a real, I think, a nastiness to it, which is we all like a little bit of nastiness. So, you look forward to that. As I said, it's not a normal game. It's a special game, and go and enjoy it. Behave yourself, the fans, but go and enjoy it, and the best team win.
We love it. Well, as per usual, we've enjoyed you. Thank you so much. We know that you've got a massive day and you didn't want to let us down. And here you are. Drive safely, Warren, and we'll have you back soon. Thanks so much for popping in.
No problem. Stay cool. So stay cool, my love.
I will. Cool. You too, mate.
Put that AC on.
Will do. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was Warren Barton, Newcastle icon and legend, joining Squad Central with his opinions on the Arsenal, the derby, everything coming up. Right. Stick with me here, you guys, because we're going to get through a few bits together. If you wanted to join me in studio, you can. If you wanted to have a quick say on how you would pick the midfield for the North London derby, you are welcome. If anyone wants to pop in, I will put the link in here right now and you can pop in with me. It's up to you. Nice one, Wazza. Cheers, Warren. Fantastic. Warren. We love Warren. He's such a sweetheart. He's such a good guy. He has this huge meeting at 2:00 my time, which is 10:00 in England. And he didn't want to let us down. And I just thought it was very cool of him to pop in anyway. Listen, we have some issues. I definitely think that we have some issues. Midfield will win, lose the game. And you wouldn't say that ordinarily, right? He is a huge friend to the show. And I've actually been talking football with Warren since 2011 when I started doing a live show called World Football Daily in Los Angeles. And one of the nicest guys in football. And he's a South London boy and he's a gooner. He grew up loving the Arsenal and always loved playing against the Gunners, and had some great duels, especially with Ian Wright. He would always be like, oh, he's such a menace on and off the pitch. And he played with the great Alan Shearer, captained Newcastle as well at certain points. Picture on the left is with him and Baldy. That's Philippe Albert in the background there. And of course, there he is trying to take the ball off Thierry Henry. This is the spat with Ian Wright. Brilliant stuff. That's him trying to tackle Ray Parlour. And of course, he was part of the Crazy Gang as well. Brilliant days. Wow. And if you haven't, there's some great shows actually inside the dressing room shows where players have come on and talked about how Wimbledon was about the worst. I think there's a great show between Kevin and Paul Davis talking about the dressing room. Even Warren talks about how awful the dressing room was at Wimbledon. And I do believe there was a story where there was dog poop in the away dressing room at some point. But crazy times, crazy gang, absolutely insane. Just brilliant, brilliant stuff. Right, let's get stuck into our game a little bit. So last season, it was a beautiful thing playing away against Tottenham. And unfortunately, there's no Declan. Here he is hugging Havertz. I really don't want to see these two be able to throw darts at all. We're always going to be a danger in the air. Kai Havertz, fantastic goal. We've got Gabriel here as well. At this point, you know, I feel like we may see Sterling play a bigger role than we thought. I think maybe Kai's going to have to play in midfield. And I know that a lot of you don't really want to see that, but desperate circumstances require desperate measures. And this is a real problem. This is a real problem. You know, losing Rice to a stupid situation. I mean, listen, I know it was just ridiculous from the referee, but we've also just got to be a lot smarter than that. You know, we cannot be putting ourselves in holes like that. And with the North London derby coming up, it's just a real shame, especially when you see how Rice played for England this week. Brilliant. He looked like he was back to his usual energetic best. And he got a goal, made a goal. He really looked like he was up for it. And it's just a shame that unfortunately we're not going to have him for this match. Yanto says Zinni is an accident waiting to happen. He keeps wandering out of position and he cannot defend for Toffee. A lot of you asking for Waneri. Now, let's talk about this because it was a conversation that I had with Tom Canton. And I agree, Harvey. They're more... Oh, okay. I should have read that before I put it up, but whatever. Won't hear anything against Rice, not after we had Xhaka. I'm sorry, Lone Star, down there in the Lone Star state of Texas. No, he was silly too. He gave the referee an opportunity to make that decision. Now, was it a stupid decision? 100%. It was ridiculous. Never seen a more stupid decision other than the Martinelli one like it. It was ridiculous. But why give the referee the opportunity to make that call? Don't do that. And I love Declan. I will defend him to the corner of the earth. Ian says, heard someone on LeGrove say that Rice was on a yellow, so should have been smarter. Interesting. He should have. I am, Newman. I'm sweating like swine, though, right now. Dripping. Absolutely dripping. It's going to be a very short show. Let's see. Ronnie says, let's see. I want to see everyone's midfield now in live chat. What does your midfield look like against Tottenham? Let's see. Ronnie says, Jorginho, Partey, Havertz, midfield. Yes. I think that's got to be it. If Ødegaard is injured, and then are you playing Sterling as the number 10? Who's playing up front? What does it look like? By the way, none of you want to come into the studio and have a little chit chat with me? No? No? Running away? Barry says, Raya, White, Saliba, Gabby, Timber, Partey, Havertz, left 8, Saka, right 8, Martinelli, Jesus, Sterling. Now, is Jesus fit enough to play? I hope he is. I hope he is. That's not bad, Barry. Not bad. Not bad at all. Don't goad me, says Lone Star. I won't goad you. I'm just saying. Hashtag just saying. Jorginho, Partey, Havertz. Yes, I read that one. So if Rice made a mistake, it was a dreadful decision. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to kill him. Sofiamo, next time I will come on. Look at you with the Sofiamo, Harvey. I like that. Calafiori potentially injured too. Now, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I don't. I'm glad that he came home. Let's get him fixed up. But the way you guys are describing, and by the way, those listening on replay and on YouTube, thanks for joining as well. The way everyone's talking about it now, have they made me over dramatize this because I haven't seen the game? I didn't see him come off. Apparently he needed help coming off the pitch. I'm going to bring Seb in here because I want to hear from Seb what his midfield looks like. And Seb, are the squaddies exaggerating the Ødegaard thing? Did you see it? What can you tell me?
So hi squaddies, hi everyone. I didn't see the Ødegaard niggle, unfortunately, so I can't particularly say, whether he's going to be in and out, but either way, I think, we should be optimistic. I think, he's captain, he's a leader. Like Ben White last season, for example, he went on the whole season with that ankle problem all season. So I think, there's sacrifice, and I think especially for North London derby, where we expect the team to turn up, especially after the last game, I think Ødegaard might make that sacrifice potentially.
Right. Tell me, talk to me. Look, this let's not joke, okay? I was fine. If Ødegaard is injured and he can't play, this is a huge problem. This is a massive, gigantic problem. And let me tell you, squaddies, it's bigger than the Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, Calafiori problem. Martin Ødegaard makes this team tick. He's magic. Magic Martin. Seb, you're Mikel Arteta. You're paid the big bucks. Ødegaard, injured or not, what does your team look like in the midfield? And then we'll talk about Sterling real quick.
So I'll start from the bottom. I have Partey in.
Bottom-ups?
Sorry?
I was just joking. I said bottoms up, but yeah.
Bottoms up. I have Partey and Jorginho on the bottom as a pivot, and then I have Jorginho to come in at around the 60th minute, because I feel like Partey is going to run out of steam very quickly in the London derby. And then I have Kai and Ødegaard with Wanyeri coming in for Ødegaard at the 60th minute as well.
Okay, so let's say Ødegaard is injured.
Then I have Jesus actually pulling back. Oof. And I know it's controversial, but I'm going to put Leo up in striker up front, and then with Martinelli or Sterling on the left wing.
So you have if Ødegaard is injured, you're playing Havertz, Partey, and Jesus in midfield.
Yep.
And then you're playing Martinelli, Sterling as the false nine, as the kind of
Martinelli on the left, and then I have Leo up front, and then Saka off on the right.
So no Sterling in your starting lineup if Ødegaard's injured?
Not in this game. I don't think this is the game to showcase Sterling. I think it's I think it will send the wrong message that if Sterling has a very poor performance in this game, this will be the game that will define him the full season. And I don't think Arteta is going to put that type of pressure on Sterling for his debut.
Well, listen, he's been in high-pressured situations. This is a player that's played at the highest level for club and country. I don't think Sterling will have any issue whatsoever coming into a game like this. I really don't. Now, I'm not sure about Jesus playing in that role. Tammy says, good point. I think Sterling will start. Sterling must play. Sterling to come on and score the winner, showcase the most experienced player in our squad and most successful. Listen, Sterling does love big games. I would play Havertz. Someone said it. Havertz, Partey, Jorginho in midfield. Because Havertz can do, and I would play Jorginho in the more creative role. Who said that? Someone take credit for what you said, and I'm just stealing it, basically. I would play Jorginho in that creative role, less running to do for him, because we can't afford that. We've seen Jorginho having to hustle, and it doesn't really work, does it, Seb? You've got Havertz who can play kind of like the bruiser role. That's the number 6? Is that going to be Partey? How do you if it's those three, if it's those three, how do you think we match up to Tottenham's midfield? Havertz,
I think we're
Partey,
going to be
Jorginho.
I think the counterattack is going to get us every time. And I think that's if we play that method, we're going to be in our half, I think, for the majority of the game. Because Partey and Jorginho, both lack pace. And that's the problem. While, yes, they can sling a great ball up, that's not our play anymore. That's old Arsenal. That's when we were like trying to figure out our way. Our new way now is getting the ball up through the middle. And if we change that aspect, I think we're going to have a very hard time against Tottenham. So that, and the reason being is that we also have now Timber and Zinni, who can potentially be on the left, either one of them. And then we have Ben White. And what I'm seeing is that if we have Partey and Jorginho, it's almost going to be Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, Jorginho, and then actually we're going to have Timber and Ben White move up higher, like as complete wing fullbacks. And I think that will be the play, if anything, if we do end up doing that method.
How do you feel about the North London derby? It's away from home. Listen, on paper, we're the superior force, but you heard Warren Barton talk about, you know, don't tell me it's not a different game. It is a different game. It's a different game for the players. It's a different game for the fans. We know it's different. We don't want them to feel I would actually love for them to start feeling confident and cocky, because Mikel Arteta has had time to plan for this match, Seb. How are you feeling about it confidence-wise going in?
I'm at a 5 right now out of 10. I'll be honest. I think there's too many things that are up in the air right now for Arteta to make a confident decision on best plan of action moving forward. I think if we had this whole week to prep for it, I think we'd feel a bit better. But the fact that, you know, a lot of them are international break, Calafiori's coming back, that he's being assessed, it doesn't look good. And the fact that Rice is out, I think that's the biggest blow. I think if Ødegaard was injured and Rice was still able to come, I think we'd be all right. But the fact that now both our creative players are out, it's tough.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, with the information that you have at hand, what's your prediction for the game?
I think it's going to be 0-0 up until probably the 75th minute, where either team is going to get it on the counterattack.
Not sitting on the fence there. You're not going to say which team. You don't see us pulling off one of these again at Tottenham this season. Unfortunately, we won't have him. Yeah, you don't.
I think
you're not.
It really depends. It depends on the starting lineup.
Get rid of you, Seb. You're bringing me down, man.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I'm usually never like this, but like the fact that people are suggesting Partey and Jorginho, and I think if we start that method, we're gonna lose, I think.
Okay. All right. Well,
because we're gonna run out of steam very quickly. We're gonna be running around. But if we end up playing, you know, something where we get creative with one of the forwards that come in, and again, potentially Sterling is that guy who unlocks the team, and we see something new. But I think, you know, if that's the case, then we can probably scratch off a 1-0.
All right, Seb. I like it. And thanks for popping into the studio and having your say. Let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, it's SSANNAJUST as Senajust. I'm on Instagram. I'm on X. I'm not as active on X as I was previously. But yeah, feel free to stop on by if you're in the Boston area.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks so much, and take care. And well done for being the squaddy that stepped up for everyone. Let's hope there's an Arsenal player that steps up in midfield and is that force to be reckoned with against the enemy on Sunday. Cheers, Seb.
Love it. Cheers.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye. That's Seb for you. Had the balls to step up for you guys, to be the squaddy that came out and spoke. And I love it. Lovely lad. Super, super Seb. Well done. Well done, Seb. Listen, I didn't agree with anything he said, but it was lovely for him to pop into the studio and have his say. Just saying. Right. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to chat about the North London derby this week. Okay. And I am feeling confident. I'm not going to let any of this news bring me down until I hear Tom Canton's new show where he says, listen, this is bad. Ødegaard's injured. He's not going to play. Calafiori injured. Not going to play. Jesus still unfit. Can't play. Until I hear those words from Tom Canton, I won't have it. I will believe in this team. and I will continually be positive all week because you know what? I just want us to beat them so bad, and I want to be able to do this all the time. Shall I just keep playing it? So bad it's good, isn't it? I love it. Okay, let's get some of your other. I love it too, Tammy. I could play it all day long. I've got a couple of other bits for you. Finally, we agree on something today, Lone Star. Yeah. You know what? I still don't know who did this. And I would love to know because I want to credit them because I think it's one of the most awesome things I've ever seen online. Do you know what I might do? I might just loop it like over and over for 30 seconds as opposed to having to play it, you know, every 6 or 7 seconds and stuff. I like the dramatic music as well. Yeah, it's great. It's almost Game of Thrones. Well, no, it's an exaggeration, isn't it, really? Let's hear it one more time. It cracks me up. Okay, we're going to have other guests coming on the show this week. Paul Buckle will be back this week as well. Kyle will be back on Wednesday too. We're going to have lots of North London Derby talk. We're going to have the post-game show right after the match on Sunday as well. So we will be together. We will stand side by side and we will have a chat about the big game after the final whistle on Sunday. So you're not going to want to miss that too. I've got something really funny to show you guys. You thought that video was good. It's a shame that Newman's in the room tonight, Tammy, because I may never live this one down, but I'm going to show you the video anyway. It is excellent, Ian. So this week, you guys know that I'm in the States and I cover the beautiful game on a global level. By the way, I forgot to show this picture to Warren. That's baby Warren playing for, I think it's Maidstone versus Yeovil in the FA Cup. He scored an absolute banger. Look at him. Baby Warren right there. I'll have to send him. I'll clip this for him. But you know, I've been a huge supporter of the women's game. I've been covering the US women's national team since 2011. Don't tune out, you guys, because you're not going to want to miss this video. Trust me. And I had the pleasure of covering the US women's national team when they won Olympic gold, when they won the World Cup. It was just a really brilliant time. And I remember actually interviewing them when no one wanted to. I think it was 2010-11 when I started covering them, and I would be on the sideline on a cold, wet evening during training camp at LA Galaxy Stadium, where you could easily speak to Megan Rapinoe and Alex Morgan, etc. And the great Alex Morgan said goodbye to football this weekend. She is, I think, one of the best players that has ever played the game. And oftentimes we talk about men who've retired and we laud their careers, and you know, we give them the props that they deserve. And Alex Morgan, for me, is someone who has helped change the game on the pitch, but mostly off the pitch. Listen, let's not beat around the bush. Alex Morgan, not only an absolutely brilliant player who scored a gazillion goals, but also very marketable. She crossed over into popular culture and she was able to bridge a gap at a time when women's football really needed to. The 99ers changed the game in the United States. I think someone like Hope Solo was Alex Morgan before Alex Morgan. Hope Solo was the first one that really crossed over, that really changed the game, that absolutely blew through barriers and doors that other players were able to walk through, in my humble opinion. And I've always been a huge fan of Hope Solo. You can say what you want about someone. Everyone's had problems in their lives. But when we're talking about the footballer, she transcended the game. And, you know, absolutely just brilliant. And I had the opportunity to talk to Alex Morgan right when she made her debut in the World Cup, I think it was, but before the London Olympics. And you know what? Just because I thought, why not? I'll share this video with the squaddies. We both look pretty young. Here it goes, just for you. Hi, it's Sophie here, and I'm at the Home Depot Centre, home of the LA Galaxy, host of the MLS Cup final this year, and this week, host to the United States women's national team as they prepare to travel to Canada for their Olympic qualifiers. The quest for gold begins here, and we'll be talking to Abby Wambach, Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, and Hope Solo. But I won't be dancing, that's for sure. About what it means for you to be involved in the United States women's national team?
Well, it's hard to describe, in one sentence, but it's something I looked forward to my entire life. I mean, after I chose soccer as a sport I was most passionate about, I looked forward to playing with this team, and I was, looking up to players like Abby Wambach and Chrissy Rampone and Christine Lilly for a long time. So to be able to represent my country in the World Cup, was an amazing feeling, and hopefully moving on to the Olympics, when we get through the Olympic qualifiers, hopefully I'll also be able to put on that jersey and represent my country in the biggest world event, the Olympics.
I always wonder when you're standing there and the national anthem is playing, you're at the World Cup or you're at the Olympics. My thought is, what are they thinking about? Are you thinking about growing up, playing in the playgrounds, high school, your dream to make it to the team? What goes through your mind at that point?
During the World Cup?
When
I'm really just thinking about all the fans that came out, all the fans that are watching on the TV, everyone who's, watching us and supporting us and watching us represent our country so well. I think that, every time I put that jersey on, it's a chance to, not only represent my country, but show myself well and my team well. So every time the national anthem plays, I think that's just what's going through my mind.
You've been labelled as the next big star of of American women's soccer. Do you ever feel a pressure, or do you thrive on that? And are you excited about the future and what it could bring?
I think that since I'm a forward, you kind of have to thrive on that pressure. Your job is to score goals, and if I don't, then I know I let my team down in some way. But I definitely feel that pressure, and I do like that pressure because it's something that's kicking me in the butt. It's something that's keeping me motivated, definitely.
Promise me one thing, when you get to London, avoid the black pudding.
Okay, is it horrible?
It's really horrible. Don't eat it. If anyone offers it to you, don't eat it.
I won't, thank you.
Promise?
Good. Yeah, I'll promise.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for your time.
You.
Listen, always putting myself out there, unafraid. Those are my real curls, you nerds, knuckleheads out there. That's my curly hair. I had curly hair I should have had a photo to back it up and show you guys. My hair was so curly. And then in true fashion, in the 90s and stuff, the late 90s, you start straightening it because you wanted the curly girl hair from Cyprus, wanted straight hair. The straight hair girl wanted my curly hair. And that's just the way it is. That's how we women are. So yeah, those are all my curls. And I was really stoked to be able to do that and have that memory. I've been really lucky. Sometimes people say, do you miss being in England? And really, the only thing I miss is going to the football home games on a Saturday. And I'm lucky enough to be able to come over and still go to games during the season. But being in the States and having covered the game here for the years that I have, I've got to stand that close and interview David Beckham and Zlatan and Andrea Pirlo and David Villa and, it's Olivier Giroud now. Hopefully I'll get to speak to. I've done it with Gareth Bale, interviewed him, that is. And I wouldn't have been able to kind of do that, I don't think, if I was in. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But to have that kind of exposure to those types of players on a weekly basis, because in America, you can go into the locker room at the end of a game and you're just standing there and Zlatan's there, sitting by his locker and fixing his hair or, contemplating the game. And the same thing with David Beckham. And it is really quite an incredible experience. And so to be able to say that I had that time with one of the greatest players that's ever played the women's game means a lot to me. And I wanted to share that with you and to see how life circles, right, you guys? This was the last time I spoke to Alex Morgan. And I just wanted to share this with you because, women in football, it's a lot tougher. She's pregnant. which is a beautiful thing. She's going to have her second child. And for me, I just stopped because it got me thinking about a lot of different things. You know, the cycle of life, where you start, where things end up, the short career span it is for footballers. Yes, they can make lots of money, but you've only known one thing, and that's to play the game. And there's definitely more opportunities for them now to go into media and different aspects of the sport. But kind of when I thought about when I first interviewed her to the last time I saw her, I thought it was a beautiful thing, and I just wanted to share it with you.
But but she's also a player that can be beat, and it's everyone's taking pictures of this. You're being so silly.
You may hate it. I love it. I think that's a really beautiful thing. Now she's a mum. She's going to become a mum for the second time. And I wish her all the best. And I hope that, you know, I think we'll be seeing a lot of her on TV covering World Cups and all sorts of amazing tournaments to come. So thank you for indulging me in that a little bit. And here you go. I love sharing stuff with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. And wherever those things, I've got some great Marco Royce stuff too, but you guys wouldn't care. You would just be like, oh, so if we could have we were going to sign him one time. Yeah, we were, among others as well. But I love being here and covering these players. And some people may think, oh, they're coming here for retirement. Some people think that they are taking advantage of the last few years they have in the twilight of their career. I think we're going to see more and more players come here. And I think it's a great thing that Inter Miami are brilliant without Messi. He hasn't played in forever and ever. It just proves to you that, you know, each league has its beauty to its viewer, and not everything is the Premier League, and not everything is Bundesliga or Serie A or La Liga. But I don't see a lot of you watching La Liga. You know, you guys are bored by a lot of those games. The atmosphere here, the crowds here, the culture, what they're building at grassroots level is pretty amazing. And I wish I could take some of you to a game. But anyway, that's enough of that. Right. Lone Star says, Solo, Rapinoe, Morgan won everything fundamental. Yes, they absolutely did. Absolutely did. I love him. He is, I tell you what, Barry, he is going to be a joy to cover. I spoke to him last week, and he was really candid about how he was blown away by having to travel to St. Louis and play in 95 plus heat. He wasn't expecting that intensity. I mean, Steven Gerrard even said the same thing. He couldn't understand and handle the travel and the requirements that it takes to really kind of have this energy to play in this league. You're crossing time zones in the same country, altitudes. It's very difficult. It's not easy. And I just wish that, you know, people would respect that a little more sometimes. I'm not talking about the quality of the game. It's not the same. Of course it isn't. But the atmosphere, the vibe, the experience, what people are doing, is a awesome thing. And to hear like Olivier Giroud, Hugo Lloris, Gareth Bale talk about it. You've got Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, Messi, the way they talk about it. They're totally taken by surprise by how into it fans are and what they're creating on the ground for that game day, match day experience. So it's all very, very cool. You know, Harvey, I have had the pleasure, and I don't know if you guys have even heard this. You probably haven't. But I love the New York Cosmos, and I love them mostly because of Carlos Alberto. And because of my interest in the New York Cosmos, I had it's my favorite interview of all time. I had 10 minutes, maybe 12, with the great Carlos Alberto, the man who probably scored the greatest goal in World Cup history, the man who lifted the World Cup for Brazil. I'm so proud of that. How's this turned into this kind of show? Anyway, let's keep rolling, shall we? I'm sweating like swine, but I don't care. And my conversation with him was just ahead of the World Cup in Brazil. And he was to hear what he had to say about Neymar and Messi and Cristiano and that Brazil team at that time. He never thought they had a chance, didn't think they were mature enough, wanted Neymar to be less unselfish. If he always felt like if he could be the best player in the world. It was really a great conversation. Maybe I'll repost it so you guys can listen to it. It really was. It was really a fantastic interview, and I'll cherish that forever because growing up, my dad talked to me about Carlos Alberto, and he was like, look at this guy. You want to watch football? You want to learn about football? He is one of the greatest players ever. And then to be able to kind of get to interview him was just superb. It really is. I'll repost it so you guys can listen to it. Sophie, did you see the ladies' game? It really was a game of two halves. Yeah, but in the end, we smashed it and we got there, right? We're going to be doing a women's show next week. Start getting stuck into that a little bit and a lot. And let's be honest, Demsek, it ended better this season than it did last season, right? At this stage. Just saw Ødegaard injury, bad knock on the ankle, looked in agony, but walked off the pitch supported by physios. Listen, you can't be lying. At Martin Ødegaard injured, out for Spurs and City. You don't know that. Has that been officially announced? I do not think so. He has not even gone home to be assessed by the team. This is very sad. James Earl Jones, one of the most distinctive voices in TV and entertainment, has passed away. That is very, very sad news. An iconic actor, and someone who lived a great life in movies and gave a lot of joy to a lot of people around the world. So rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Just watched it on YouTube. Okay, listen, we're going to assess this tomorrow, all right? And we'll have another conversation about it. Thursday, do you still have African Gooners? African Gooners will be back the following Thursday. So we're going to be doing the show to start off with bi-monthly. So look out for the show. But Terence, I do believe you won the shirt. So I have to check with Femi, but I do believe you won that. Yeah, what a voice. An absolute insane voice. Yeah, great stage actor too. You guys know your movies. This is why Showbiz Squad is going to come back. We got Tamer Hassan coming up on Showbiz Squad in the next few weeks. You're going to enjoy that. If you love The Business and The Football Factory, Tamer Hassan, who's been in some cult movies, and The Business 2, I think, is being made. But we'll ask Tamer about that when he's on the show as well. And Anthony Costa from Blue will be coming on, currently appearing in Mamma Mia. He is a Tottenham fan and we are football frenemies, but he's got a very interesting story. So we're going to talk a little bit of football and a little bit about his showbiz career as well. And Blue, one of those bands that's come back. Everyone's making Oasis, Blue, New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls. You know, everyone's coming back. Absolutely. Amazing. I love it. Brilliant stuff. Right. That's all I've got for you today, kids. Put me on with Tamer. Why? What are you going to do, Harvey? Look at Harvey's a hard man, isn't he? Comes in here, gives it large. I'll put you on with Tamer. He'll sort you out. Love it, governor. Da business. Absolute legend. Yes. Okay, guys. Unless you have any other business, I do not. I've been through it all. We spoke to Warren about the derby rivalries, the importance of it to players. We got his take on what we should do in the midfield. We're going to evolve that conversation as the week goes on. We're going to talk to Paul Buckle about how he would manage the game, considering the adversity and the injuries that Arsenal could potentially be facing. And we'll do that this Wednesday. So look out on the community page. Look out on the old X for the next live show. And until then, all right, just keep being positive, keep thinking positively. There's nothing to worry about until there's something to worry about. Okay? Have a great week, Sophie and Squaddy, says Mark. Ødegaard is fine, so is Calafiori. In my mind, they absolutely are. This is a massive week. Look forward to it. Night, Sophie. Good night, Jason. Love you guys. Don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. That is the #1 rule. of Highbury Squad. Okay. And we've got some great news coming up too in the coming week. And then football prizes. Don't forget to go give them a follow. Please go to football prizes at football prizes at football prizes. Visit footballprizes.co.uk so you can get the latest auctions. There'll be a new auction launched this week for the Arsenal. Don't forget it. For those who bought the Arsene Wenger tickets, well done. I hope some of you got lucky. If you did, please do let me know. Very importante. All right, kids. Good night. God bless. And at ease, squaddies at ease. I actually hit that by mistake. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Galinichta.